2022 O Cannabis. Happy to be back in person. You know, the last time we were here was 2019. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 2019. So might as well just add this one to our thing. Last night we won an award.
Boom.
Yes, we won.
Jackie is and still the social media influencer of the year.
Yay,
champion.
We got bookends in the studio. Yay. We have Crystal joining us. Crystal Chronic is part of our Wiki family, and we travel with her. Our head writer that we have 1 million+ articles on there. No, how many articles do we have?
Close to 6,000.
Yeah. Several thousand, Crystal said. Several thousand. So our guest today is Megan. Do you still go by Megan Henderson?
I do for work, yeah.
You do for work.
Yeah,
well, so since last I've seen you, congratulations.
Thanks.
And it's been a long time.
I know.
And what do you do in the industry, Megan? Tell us who people who are listening.
Well,
and I'm surprised we haven't interviewed you before.
I know, right?
Yeah.
My claim to fame is that I was the founding editor and the founder of thegrowthup.com.
Right.
Which was the first mainstream cannabis focused publication, digital publication,
right,
from a mainstream corporate media entity called Postmedia, which is the biggest newspaper publisher in Canada.
So wait, I'm interrupting quickly. You were the founder.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew that our bosses at Postmedia at the time, they were getting a lot of traction with cannabis folks who were interested in understanding and being educated on cannabis. You know, it's an older audience who read the newspapers and sort of frequent those publications. And I saw an opportunity in 2017 to say, hey, why don't we have a standalone publication that's really focused on educating folks on cannabis, how to use it, whether they're medical or recreational. You know, they need to understand what's happening as we move towards legalization. They need to understand what products are going to be available in the market. They need to know how to use those. And so, you know, that I went to the management and said, hey, this is my idea. This is what I think we could do. I think there's potential here. And you know, the Postmedia executives saw the merit to it, and the Growth Up was born.
Just like that. They saw wow, I'd like to know some of those offside conversations in the backdoor conversations and stuff that was happening, because anything with I mean, even if it's an informational, educational platform, there's such a stigma. And I don't think all of us in the industry realize sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like when the stigma hits us. Whew.
Well, like our corporate communications person, when I first took the role on, was doing media prep for me. And she said, okay, like when you go do an interview, you know, I don't want you to talk about your cannabis consumption habits, you know, because, you know, we don't want people to think that you're a professional pothead. And I turned to her and I said, no, that's exactly what I want them to think, because there's nothing wrong with that. And we need to start letting people know that it's okay to be a professional who uses cannabis just like you would have a glass of wine, and stop treating it like it's like evil.
Definitely. Crystal writes for us. So when you're writing, what do you find the most engagement and people most interested in? And then I will ask you, like, is that the same for you? So you guys can...
I think a lot of it is the do-it-yourself type stuff, the teaching people how to do just the basics. They just don't know.
Because we don't have enough data and education information out there.
100%. Like, we see lots of traction. We do a lot of how-to videos. We do a lot of recipes and DIYs. You know, you were talking about it, Derek, up on the stage when we were doing our panel earlier. And DIYs and learning how to make this a part of your life and do it yourself is so much what people want.
Yes.
They don't want to be at the mercy of other people to tell them how they can have a relationship with this plant. They want to find their own path. And it's up to us, I think, as educators and content creators to give them the tools to do that.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. When we do a show that's a DIY, that's where we get tons of engagement.
Oh,
like, people really want to pay attention to that. But we're also, when we have sponsors and we have partnerships, they're very scared of the stigma, the regulations, the compliance. They're very nervous. Like, okay, we're going to go to Cannabis Wiki. How do we stay within compliance, though? How do we keep this? What were those challenges for you?
I mean, I was the de facto expert at the time when
because you were the first.
And I had read the regulations. I'd read the draft regulations before they even received royal assent. So I knew as they were moving through the drafts of what is now the Cannabis Act, what the main gist of the rules was going to be around marketing and advertising. I don't think you knew where it was headed, but I don't think anybody thought it was going to be as strict as it is. So really my job was to educate Salesforce and the executives within Postmedia on, what are the regulations? What do we need to be aware of when we're talking to advertisers? How do we best support our partners by giving them good advice? And the number one rule I had when talking to anybody was know your risk. Know your risk. What are you willing to risk? To
It
put
all,
this ad?
everything, every breath.
I mean, in those early
Jackie's
days,
all in.
we got some folks that were doing like inducements, like
What?
20% off this, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
all manner of things.
It
And-
was the Wild West.
yeah, justifying it because they felt they could, but it's not just you, the advertiser, who is at risk. It's also the publisher that's at risk. We all know that when we take on these things that we're liable for those regulations as well. So you have to sort of have the lens of what am I, the publisher, willing to risk, and then what is my partner willing to risk.
Right.
Right.
And then that helps you determine, okay, this is what we're gonna go ahead and create or put out there.
Do you have like a crazy story, like something fun and funny about a client or a conversation that you've had in the space regarding this?
Not that I can think
Not
of
that I can tell you. Like it's pretty confidential, right?
I mean, it's funny, as we see things shift back to medical, we're definitely seeing people come back to the medical space a lot more. They realize like, yes, I might be able to get some products cheaper in the rec space, but I can't claim them on my taxes. I can't get some of those benefits. I can't get access to a healthcare practitioner to help me manage, my titration and those things. And I'm starting to hear, as we see this shift of people coming back to the space, of what we'll say was before legalization tactics on getting those folks med docs. And that's the part that concerns me, because when we start getting into this sort of script factory mentality of just get as many people with a med doc as possible, we don't serve the patient.
Script factory, yes. I like, yep.
Yeah, but isn't that where it's going now? Where it's like, oh, get your medical license within 20 clicks. Like, and like what, you know what I mean? And it feels like that's kind of like where, and the multi, like how LPs can buy from other LPs.
Yep.
So like before, like the med was like, okay, I'm this LP and we have these products and we have our med program. But now it's like you can, cross purchase and, now like, for instance, like a Mendo has 300 to 500 SKUs of different LPs. So like, where are we going with this?
Well, the challenge is, again, the patient has too much choice then, right? And then they're overwhelmed with like,
Right.
which CBD oil do I choose? Do I need 100 milligrams? A milliliter?
Or 1,200.
Yeah, like, they don't know, and there's too much choice, and they don't know where to go because they just don't understand the product landscape.
Right.
Like we all do because we're in it every day. So
Right.
having choice is amazing, and every patient should be able to find the right product for them, but you also have to not overwhelm them with selection either, right? So I think we've got to find a bit more of a balance with those types of setups, but I love the marketplace sort of model. I think it's really effective, more effective for patients.
Mm-hmm.
Balance.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Crystal? We're going to wrap this up in a minute.
No, you also won an award, didn't you?
No, I wish.
Oh, I thought the
She probably was just
an award.
No, did the Growth Up win an award?
Yeah.
I'm not there anymore, so I don't get the.
okay.
She
I'm
wished
glad
them-
for them.
She wished them well. Good
Yeah,
vibes. Woo!
yeah.
Well,
I'm
I'm sure your
strictly
hard
on the
work
medical
helped.
side now at Hello MD. So our focus is really on medical authorization, like consults with practitioners. And then we do education on in the U.S. and in Canada as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Medical.
Oh, medical.
Those are buzzwords that we like to hear that are more than buzzwords around here, right,
Yep.
Derek?
Absolutely.
We like to hear. And well, thank you so much for joining us, Megan Henderson. Still.
Mhm.
thank you so much for
Thank you
inviting
for
me.
having us on, or thank you for joining us on the Green Room from O Cannabis 2022. Derek,
Yeah, well, one last thing.
Oh.
Where can people find you?
I love it.
Oh,
I
yes.
mean,
He's on it.
you can find me on LinkedIn or Twitter. My Twitter handle is at Meg Henderson79. And if you're interested in, not to plug my own content, but
Of course.
hellomd.com.
No, definitely
Great
plug it.
content. Plug
You'll-
it. We read it.
Yeah.
I
Awesome. Okay, well,
subscribe.
I read Cannabis Wiki too, so it's a little fan fest here. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
hellomd.com. Come on and visit.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, folks. Appreciate
Bye.
it. Bye.